All right, perfect. Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to the coaches and Coxswains meeting for our collegiate racing held on Lake Quinsigamond. We're actually very excited to hold our first weekend of racing. Um, just a little information before we go into it. As some of you may know, due to unforeseen circumstances, racing may look a little different this year on the lake. Uh, to keep it short, our main dock at Donnie, who had some significant damage from the winter, and we are adjusting the racing as best we can. We appreciate everybody's flexibility, and that has really been on display by all programs, visiting schools, local schools. Um, so thank you very much. All right, let's get this started. Come on. All right. For those of you who have not had to sit through one of these before, my name is Thad, and I will be presenting the information tonight. I work with the Quinsigamond Rowing Association. Joining me are the local host head coaches, Mike McDonald from Clark, Jason Steele, and Larry Noble from WPI. Also on the call is our chief referee for our spring racing series, Mr. John Quinn. He will present the refereeing points later on in the presentation. So this weekend is hosted out of our two locations on the lake, the Donahue Rowing Center in Shrewsbury and Regatta Point Park in Worcester. Most of the visiting schools will be at a Regatta Point. The vast majority of the schools racing will be at a Regatta Point. Um, so just keep that in mind going through the other points. Uh, I didn't include a parking slide for this weekend, mainly because I'm just going to briefly go over it. As once again, this will also be a very different animal for this spring. The parking lot at Regatta Point will hold visiting boat trailers and trucks at the far south end. You can kind of see it on this map. The far left, you can see all the boat trailers all lined up. Um, the remainder of that lot, so think of the northern half, is open for parking. However, it is open to the hospital employees as well. It's not going to be totally closed off like we do with championship regattas. That area will be a first come, first serve area. I highly recommend that spectators looking to visit Regatta Point should go to the hospital parking garage and walk down or park along the road where appropriate. And if coaches, if you could spread that word to your spectators. Uh, Team buses who are dropping teams off, you will drop the team off at Regatta Point at that main gate and then drive around the lake and park at the Corazzini boat ramp next to the Donahue Rowing Center. So we won't have any bus parking along the road here. We're going to send all buses once they're unloaded up to the boat ramp. And that's basically it. There shouldn't be too many headaches up at DRC. There's very few programs park launching out of there. But the typical reminder, if you are at a DRC, which is mostly the host schools, please just don't warm up going into the post office area. Local schools know this. Visiting schools, I think we make it a very common point throughout the spring that the post office does not welcome people warming up or parking on their property. But the vast majority of you will be parking down by Regatta Point. Okay, launching from Regatta Point. Teams will be using the south dock for launching. You can see it marked out on this map. It's the very most southern dock. We ask you to be quick on the dock so all teams can get out on the water or come back in a timely manner. When launching, you will go directly across the lake. Please watch out for our oncoming races. We do not have any lanes on the lake. There's no buoy lines. Therefore, you need to be very aware of your surroundings. Coxswains, you will take your boats to the far side of the lake, all the way across from where you launch from, towards the Shrewsbury shore, and you will proceed north up the lake. Best advice is not to directly hug the shore, but at the same time, you need to watch for races coming down. It's there's some pinch points, so to speak, but you have a lot of open space that you can practice and get your warm-ups going north up to the starting area. Once again, when a race does come down and goes past you, you need to stop rowing until that race passes you. Traffic from Donahue. If you are launching from Donahue, you have two options. Per usual, nothing's changed here. Row straight across from Donahue from the docks, and then proceed south down the Worcester shore. Once again, be mindful of the races as there are no buoy lines. Please do not row beyond the Regatta Point Beach, is what we're going to ask for tomorrow if you're rowing out of Donahue. Warming up, stay north of Regatta Point Beach just so you don't interfere anybody launching or landing down at Regatta Point. Same thing, you will turn and cross the course to go to the Shrewsbury side and join the rest of the crews warming up traveling north. All crews, there is absolutely no pressure when rowing past Donahue. The current, it's always a rule for us, but the current temporary dock configuration makes landing a little tricky. So please, you need to follow. There is no pressure going past Donahue and really all the way up to the 290 bridge. So once again, please, no pressure going past Donahue. The other area to point out is we do have that red area on the map here that says stay away shallow. That is the pump house. That shouldn't come into play whatsoever here. But just people launching from DRC, per usual, be aware of the pump house. So Coxswains also on this map, you will enter the starting cove area between you will enter the starting area underneath the 290 bridge between the pier and the Shrewsbury shore. You will then proceed counterclockwise in the starting cove area. I do not believe those three large white buoys are out there yet. So please just imagine that there's a central pin that everybody's rotating around counterclockwise up in that area. Once again, per usual, nothing new. Do not enter that far end of the cove. It's just for your own good. The referees are rotating around following races down, and we don't want anybody to get out of earshot and miss their races. So please do not go all the way far back into that cove. Sorry. And on to the next one. Here is a better look at that 290 bridge. So this is coming from the Shrewsbury side, south of 290. If you look, pretty sure you can see it on my computer, but this is the pier I'm talking about. We're going to enter the starting area going under here between this pier and this embankment, this shoreline. This is the span that everybody is starting underneath. So we ask you to please do not go under that span until your race is called and you're ready to race. We're going to keep everybody clear of that area just to be safe. Go between this pier and shore when entering the starting area. So that's basically it for getting to the start from our standpoint. Just remember, I want to be very clear, there are no stake boats. There are no buoy lines in. I'm going to pass it off now to John Quinn to actually discuss the starting methods and how they're going to wrangle everybody up at the start and the U.S. rowing points. So without further ado, here's the chief referee, John Quinn. John?
Hey, thanks, Thad. Good evening, everyone. Thad, two quick questions. Number one, first of all, can you hear me? Everybody hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Last year's floating obstacle between the pier and the shore is gone. So when they go under 290 bridge, there's nothing to obstruct them. Remember that last year we had that derelict boat where that's gone?
Yes, confirmed. There's nothing up there.
Okay. My next question is, at the finish of the race, okay, you're taking crews, launching crews across to Shrewsbury and then up the Shrewsbury shore. We are not going to allow cool down on the course once the race finishes, okay? Where do you want them to cool down? Can they go on the other side of the Route 9 bridge to cool down?
No.
No. Okay.
At no point do we go past Route 9.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It'll be part of the next slide. Once you go through this stuff, it's part of the finishing the race slide kind of deal. So
okay, all right. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I know we have a number of referees on, so I've asked them purposely to attend this because it's a little bit of a departure from what we usually do every spring. thanks to Mother Nature and her unkind attention to the dock system. So everything on this weekend is going to be floating start and quick start. Okay. We will be starting, we will be aligning and starting from motorboats, which we usually do, but the motorboats will be floating free in the area of the starting line. And we will be using quick start process, which means we will not be announcing each of the crews before we start the race. What we're going to be doing, we have 4 referees that are on the water, and we will be rotating. As we usually do every year, the referee that is aligning the crews will be on the crew's starboard side. In other words, they'll be against the Worcester shore. And when we announce a race that we want you to approach the starting line, what we want you to do is get into your approximate racing lanes about 100 meters above the starting line, above the bridge. In other words, bumping into the warm-up area. So be attentive to the crews that are up there. But the easiest way to do this is if we come down side by side by side, so the coxswains can get their approximate fix on where the racing lanes are. I went into the lane assignments the other day, yesterday, and there was only one race where we had 5 boats. The rest were either 4 or less. So there is plenty of room under that arch, especially if you're free floating. Come down in what your racing lane is and come down together as you're called down. You will be followed by a referee who will shepherd you down to the starting line area. I ask that you row either bow pair or stern pair, your preference. I would imagine that probably stern pair, to keep it as quiet as possible, might be better. We have to be attentive to wind. So it's if there's a wind, it's going to be in the area of the vicinity of Route 290 bridge. So coming down in your racing lane with your point is going to be one of the most critical things that you can do to help us. I always use the term, look to your left, look to your right. It's almost a straight line across. Just the marshal will be on your starboard side, assisting with the point as you come down, and then there'll be a referee behind you who will ultimately be the starter. Come slowly and come under control, please. Please don't think that because we are floating that we are going to throw the rule book out the window. We are not. Safety first, obviously, we want you to be safe, but we're also going to be very, very attentive to fairness. And we want to make sure everyone is properly aligned. The alignment points are on the bridge. Everyone knows where they are. We have extremely seasoned drivers to put the referees right where they have to be, and tell the coxswains right where they need to be, and where the referees need to be. So please, as you're coming downstream, listen to what the referee says. Don't try to get the last 6 inches, because it just won't work. It's just going to frustrate you. It's going to frustrate us, because the referees will have to make it go around again, which we don't want to have to do. We want to make this a one-shot deal. We will come down and we'll keep you posted as to where we're going. We want to try to keep it as calm as we can. In a quick start environment, we are not recognizing hands. So please don't come down with your hand in the air, because the time of the start is growing close, and we need your attention based on getting a proper point and keeping your crew under control. Listen to what the referees have to tell you and give us a hand there. As soon as all crews get in line, I will have the referees add one thing to it. I will have them say, we have alignment, which is not part of a starting process, but I will have them announce, we have alignment. And then the starter, who will be behind the crews, will say, quick start, attention, putting a red flag up, and go. Quick start, attention, go. We will not be announcing the crews. We will not be announcing the names of the crews. it will be a quick process. I mean, it will not be time to start taking your jerseys off when you get in the vicinity of the starting line. Do that well in advance, please. As Thad said, we have no buoys, so that includes the 100-meter buoys. We're going to be using 20 seconds. If anything breaks, let me define breaks. If anything breaks in the first 20 seconds, and that's going to be the 20 seconds on the watch of the referee that's following the race, stop rowing. Put your hand in the air, and we'll attend to what the issues are. If it's a broken equipment, it had best be a broken equipment, because if not, you will be awarded a penalty. And please, 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 don't play games. Don't play games. Don't force us to stop a race because you had a bad start. It's a seasoned referee group, and we'll be pretty attentive to that. Over the body of the course, again, be sure that your coxswains have their best point. And there's a big bridge at Route 9 ahead of you. Pick a point on that bridge and draw as parallel a line as you can, while giving yourself plenty of moving around room between yourself and the crews next to you. The referees behind you will be the best overall judge of whether you're in your water or not. We will not steer you. We will not steer you. We will direct you if you are about to strike another crew or to wash another crew. And we will direct you by holding a white flag and calling the crew's name, putting a white flag in the air, and putting the white flag down in the direction we want you to go. Please do it immediately. Don't wait 3 or 4 or 5 strokes. Do it immediately. Okay. Now it's very timely once we get under race. I know the rules of rowing in U.S. rowing say that if a race finishes with one crew member out of the boat, it's still a legal race as long as there's a coxswain in the boat. If you lose someone out of the boat, and don't laugh, I've been doing this long enough that I've seen it all, including crew members falling out of boats. If you lose someone out of the boat during a race for any reason, stop rowing. It's cold water. We want to have the crew stay with the person that's in the water, and we will attend to the person in the water as quickly as possible, with the race being secondary, the fairness part being secondary. But we want you to get out, and a crew rowing away from a jettisoned rower is not going to be of any assistance. Stop rowing immediately if you lose someone in the water. There are no markings over the course, okay? One of the things tomorrow morning is that we will have someone. The referees will be meeting at Regatta Point at 7:15. We will not be having a complete meeting, but if you have any questions about what we're saying now, or marks on the course or anything like that, knock on the door to the conference room. We'll be happy to answer them as best we can. We can give you an approximate of where each of the locations, each of the 500 meters markers are, but we will not have a buoy assigning each of the 500, 1,000, 1,500 meter marks. Of course, the 2,000 meter mark, which is the finish line, will be marked with a flag person on the shore and the flag procedure. As you go across the finish line, as you approach the finish line, first of all, the finish line flag will be on your starboard side. It will be on your right-hand side if you're in a Cox boat. You will see the flag for probably the last 150 or 200 meters. It will be in the air, and as the first crew goes across, you'll hear mark, and you'll hear a noise, a siren sound, a blast, a beeping of the horn, and then the flag will drop. That will be first place. Second place, the flag will go up. Third place, flag will go down, and so on until all the crews are across. If anyone in the crew has a problem at the end of the race, get your hand in the air immediately. And I'm speaking mostly of athletic asthma type thing, which encourage. We were just talking before you before we opened up. The pollen is, I suffer with pollen issues, so I'm very attentive to the fact that the pollen count is growing up, increasing. And if there's pollen issues and people have respiratory issues, for trouble, any kind of trouble at all, please get your hand in the air and we will be attentive to that. We are linked at Donahue. We are linked at Regatta Point. We are linked with each of the referees with first aid. And we have the hospitals right there. And we have emergency protocols that we will follow if we have to pull someone out of a boat or whatever. That will be our first incident. That will be our first attention. At the end of the race, of course, everything's going to go 100% for every race. But if you have any questions about the race, about what happened, the first thing the referee is going to do is nothing. She or he will stand there for about 8 or 10 seconds, just surveying the crew to make sure that there's no hands that go in the air and make sure that everyone's sitting up and being attentive and whatever. If you feel your right to win the race has been compromised in any way, shape, or form, put your hand in the air, okay? Put your hand in the air. Speak to the referee about it. We are trying to resolve any issues on the water. Please don't say that my right to win the race because I wasn't ready at the start. If you start, you've committed to the race. That's a rule of thumb. But if you feel that you've been struck by another boat or you've been washed by another boat, generally if a crew is overlapping, we certainly want to bring them back into their own overlapping oars or anything like that. We'll bring them back. But sometimes in an unmarked course, a little overlap is sometimes necessary. Again, it depends upon where you are in the race and how far ahead the crew that's ahead of you is and things like that. So we'll try to talk to you and to resolve it to everyone's issue. If you persist that your right to win the race has not been honored, you have the right to protest, okay, and not accept the race. At that point in time, the referee will show a red flag. At that point in time, as soon as you go back to the dock, and not after once the white flag goes up in the air, the race is official. But before you go, when we go back to the dock, you have a half an hour. If there's been a red flag, if you have a half an hour in which to put a protest in writing, accompanied by $50 check or cash or whatever to the LOC person at either Regatta Point or Donahue. Any protests, and we're hopeful that there are none, there are generally none in this series of races. If there are any protests at all, we will hear them at Regatta Point, regardless of where you are boating from. We will hear them at Regatta Point, so you must get back to Regatta Point at the time that we set to hear the protest. And that will not occur until after the racing is done, after the last race is over. As Thad said, then we want you to turn, and I would ask Thad to be elaborate again about what the cool down can be, because we want you certainly to make sure that they're properly cooled down. And but again, we don't want you to come. Again, be very, very attentive that you are going in the direction opposing crews coming to the start on a totally unmarked course. So the referees are going to be extremely attentive to crews coming in the opposite direction towards them. As Thad said, if you see a race underway, stop rowing. Please stop rowing. You would want that courtesy extended to you, and we would like you to extend that courtesy to everyone else. And that's it, Thad. I think possibly the return information to the. If you have any questions, please, I'll be happy to answer them right now. Tomorrow, again, we will be meeting at 7:15 at Regatta Point. So please knock on the door, ask us. We are going to be trying to go through this because this is a little bit of a departure from what we usually do every spring. So we're going to be reviewing it with the referees, and we push off at 8:30. So between 7:15 and 8:30, if you have a question, we'll be happy to answer whatever we can answer for you. Answer any questions. We've all been in your novice seats at one point in time, many years ago, but we've all been there, and we want you to have a good day. We want you to have your questions answered. We want you to have a safe and fair day. Dad?
Thank you, John. Yeah, and yeah, to echo what John said, and I will always echo this on every meeting to any chief referee. If anything doesn't make sense during this, or if you leave this feeling like you still have a question, by all means, seek out the referees. They're easy to find. They will be at Regatta Point tomorrow. They will not be at Donahue. They will be at Regatta Point. Just go to the front of you'll see the building. Just go to the front of the building. They'll be up there. You can't miss them. And also, we will have a section for any questions if anybody has them at the end of this. Okay, so to answer John's question about after the race, this is what we are going to do. Oops, of course, there's traffic to the start. Ignore the typo. Once the race has finished, please once again wait for the referee to make it official. If going to Donahue, so local crews or anybody rowing out of Donahue Rowing Center, please carefully move your boat to the Shrewsbury shore. Follow, you can see on the map here the purple arrow. If going to Regatta Point, please carefully move your boat to the Worcester shore, green arrow. Those going back up to Donahue will have a longer cool down. You're going to row same thing that you did on the warm-up to get to the start. Once again, echoing staying out of the way of oncoming crews. Once again, echoing stopping when races come past. Those of you landing at Regatta Point, it's going to get a little tricky. I don't think it'll be that tricky with the amount of races we have tomorrow. Just please, you are allowed to land on both the South Dock or the Awards Dock. Keep an eye out for launching crews or crews going straight across the course. Also, a thing to note, Coxswains, is the finish line is right there. You'll see when you turn and go to the Worcester side, you'll see along the Worcester shore a structure that there's going to be people on where the flag's going to be. That's the finish line. That's the finish tower. Please do not sit on that line. You will obstruct the vision of people at the finish. And once again, it's really your preference, South Dock or Awards Dock, whatever's easier, whatever's clear, so to speak, as well. Just keep an eye out. Once again, this is going to be a slightly congested area of boats launching and landing.
Thad, one quick question. One point I forgot to make, everyone. At both Donahue and also Regatta Point, there will be someone from the LOC there. Make sure that person knows that you go on the water. Sometimes if we have an incident and we have to account for everyone who's on the water, if someone has decided not to row and we think you are out there, it causes us a lot of consternation. So please check in with the LOC, make sure they know you're on the water, and if an incident occurs, we know how many crews are out there and how many who we have to account for.
Thank you. And also, just to briefly go over the race course for those of you that haven't been here before, you start at the very north end of the lake it's a very large 290 bridge. It's what I showed you for what we're rowing around. And then your basic point, your 500-meter mark, is just after you pass Donahue Rowing Center. That will be off your port side, Coxswains. When you're on the race course, same thing. Your 1,000-meter mark there's a gazebo that sticks out into the lake, also on the port side. 1,500 is kind of a tough area. Sorry, excuse me. And then if you want to think about your sprint, there's going to be the Regatta Point Beach, which is a big sandy beach, which is going to be off on your starboard side. That's pretty much ballpark right where 250 to go starts. at the very end of it. So you can use those as landmarks as best you can. Once again, just to reiterate, watch for oncoming races and stay away from what you perceive the race course to be. We do not have buoy lines out there. It will be a little different. If a race is coming down, please stop your crew until the race passes, then continue. And then absolutely no urination in the lake. There are porta potties at Regatta Point and public bathrooms at both sites. If you are caught urinating in the lake, your program is subject to a 1-year ban and you are subject to criminal charges. And that basically wraps up the presentation. If you have any questions, by all means, you can enter them through chat. You can raise your hand here and ask them if you want to. A recording of this meeting will be on the Quinsigamond Rowing Association YouTube channel. I'll send it to the host schools to send out as needed. It's also very simple. If you look up the Quinsigamond Rowing Association on YouTube, you will find this. I will post it whenever the recording gets back to me. Weather's actually looking pretty decent for tomorrow, as you can see. Decently warm, not terrible for wind, and sunny.
Yeah, Thad, one more thing.
Go
As Thad noted, we have Donahue Rowing Center and a big pavilion on your port side marking the 500 and 1,000 meter marks. At the 1,500 meter mark on the starboard side is a big grate, like a sewer grate. It's very close. It comes down to water line. Someday we're going to get some spray paint and paint it, but it's not going to move. It's going to be there. It's a little harder to see, but especially if you're on the low number of lanes, that is the good solid 1,500 meter mark.
Yes, good point, John. Thank you. All right. Does anybody have any questions? No? John?
No, I have nothing.
No, John raised his hand.
Oh,
Okay. All right. Well, I thank everybody for coming out here tonight, for logging on, and we will see you all tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
thank you. Bye-bye.